everybody, and welcome to St. Louis, Missouri, Tropicana Lanes for the 2014 Storm InsideBowling.com Open. I'm Mike Flanagan from InsideBowling.com and Storm Products, along with 13-time titleist from the PBA, and he's also a Hall of Famer, and I'm happy to be working with him for the second year in a row, Randy Pedersen. Hi, Randy.
Hi, Mike. Thanks for having me again.
Absolutely. We had an unbelievable week of bowling here, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 squads, 312 entries, and 33 states represented.
Yeah, it was a fantastic tournament. I've been here for the start of the first round of qualifying. I think what makes this tournament unique is, number one, the oil pattern at 44 feet in length. It really lends itself to a lot of different styles. We saw two-handers. We saw players with an extreme amount of power with one hand. We saw players that went straight. We saw a lot of women that had success in this event. So I think it really lent itself to allowing just about every style of play. And I really like that. And you know, I think the big thing for me is I never saw anybody inside a third arrow that had any success in this event.
Yeah, a couple of guys tried it. We saw a couple of big boomers and Tom Doherty and DJ Archer try that. And Tom Doherty did make the top 32 today. DJ Archer did not. So throwing the big wheel did not work out so well. But we do have a very diverse crew. But one bowler that is missing, who has been bowling very well in this event for the first 3 years. He won the first year, finished second the second year, and led all qualifiers after 271 entries last year, Jake Peters. And he's missing because his father is getting remarried. So we miss Jake, but we do have an awesome group tonight that I think are going to be pretty exciting to watch. So let's go ahead and take a look at our finalists. Our 5 seed tonight, this young lady did exactly what she needed to do. Her name is Anggie Ramirez, and Anggie is on fire, and I know she's got a lot of people here rooting for her.
Yeah, she was just absolutely tremendous. One of 3 southpaws to make the stepladder final. She grinded her way throughout match play, and she saved her best for last. Needing the first strike in the 10th frame of the last game, she got it, and she became the first woman ever to make the finals here at the IB Open.
In our 4 seed, Ken McNeely's bowled this event a couple of years. Ken's just kind of throwback, but he's fiery.
Well, you know, Ken is 46 years old, but don't let his age fool you. He's got plenty of tour experience. He finished second at a PBA event back in 1995, and in qualifying his last 3 games, he went back to back to back 279 games.
And our 3 seed is our defending champion, probably the beast of the field, Bill O'Neill. He's from Langhorne, Pennsylvania, and he is here to try to defend.
Well, Bill O'Neill is a 4-time winner on the PBA Tour, and he also owns 1 major title, a United States Open. He's also your defending champ, like you mentioned, Mike, and he's proving that he is still the one to beat in this event.
And, of course, our 2 seed, he actually last year lost in the final match to Bill O'Neill, so no surprise there. Craig Nidiffer from Trenton, Michigan is back again.
He finished second to O'Neill last year in this event, and he's got a really unusual setup and approach, but a lot of power and moxie. And watch out for Nidiffer, because I picked him to win this event at the start of this event.
And our top seed, Wichita State University, Matt McNeil. He is an unbelievable bowler at the USBC Open Championships, and he's our top seed today from the left side.
Matt McNeil beat Nidiffer to claim the top spot. He told us coming into this event, Mike, that he wasn't bowling well, but boy, did he sure turn things around in match play, winning 10 matches and only losing twice. Now he needs just 1 more win to capture the 2014 IB Open and $10,000.
So we've got an unbelievable crowd here. They've been waiting patiently. We're looking forward to watching the first match. When we come back, it will be the first match here from the IB Open.
In the summertime, we have kids camps. We also have junior adult camps that really focus on things like preparing for high school, particularly junior gold, teen masters. And then a lot of our kids go on to actually bowl for their countries like Team USA, and it's really high-level training to prepare for those events. We do one of our best camp, which is more focused on the family, which is a junior adult camp. So the kids and the parents and a lot of relatives actually sign up. We have a wide variety of different offerings.
Hello everyone, and welcome back into the Storm InsideBowling.com Open. This weekend, over $56,000 in the prize fund, Randy.
$10,000 on top for first, $5,000 for second, $3,000 for third, $2,000 for fourth, and $1,250 for fifth.
And we definitely have to thank everyone that made that possible. Storm Bowling Products, the Kegel Corporation, Budweiser, and the High Roller coming back this July. Now let's go down lane side to the third member of our broadcast team, Jackie Bowling, who's standing by with two very special guests.
I'm going to start with the fifth seed, Anggie Ramirez. Anggie, you are the only female to make the top 5. You're the only woman in the field to make the top 5, which is commendable. What is your strategy to climb the ladder and win?
Well, I'll try and keep left of the guys. We have 3 lefties in the step ladders, so I'll just try and take one game at a time left of them because they have more revs than me. So that's been my strategy, is keeping a little bit straighter than them.
Okay, good luck to you.
Thank you.
And Ken, you shot a huge game in position round to lock your 4th spot. How do you keep that momentum going into this next match?
We're just going to try to do one shot at a time, just do the best we can, and just leave it all out there on the lanes.
All right, best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Randy, looks like we're getting ready to get started here with match number 1. Who do you like in this match? Couple of left-handers, the southpaws.
You know, Anggie Ramirez, her soft hand at the bottom, lower rev rate, really boded well, especially when the lane started breaking down, the front started to go. She could still clear the front part of the lane. But Ken McNeely is kind of in that same boat. He's not a real high rev guy. They're going to be playing right on top of one another, the same part of the lane. I think this match here, this opening match, is all going to boil down to who strikes when they hit the pocket.
Keep in mind, $750 at stake here. The 5th place finisher, as we mentioned, $1,250. The 4th place finisher to receive $2,000. It was a $285 entry fee, which included a Storm bowling ball of your choice.
Both of these players bowling really big games in position round. Anggie was in 7th, needing a big game. She shoots 258 to go around a couple of players and grab that 5th and last spot. Ken McNeely was in a great battle with Brian Valenta, and that match also came down to the 10th frame. Brian leaving a flat 10, which gave Ken McNeely the victory.
McNeely elects to start on the left lane. Looks pretty good there. It's been outside, has been the theme of the weekend.
It's always a great sign, too, when you're left-handed and you see the 4-pin go to the sidewall and take that 7-pin out.
Anggie from Bogota, Colombia.
Bogota.
Oh, thank you, Randy. Randy, you've got a little more flavor internationally than I.
I actually speak Spanish. Great shot. I've seen Anggie bowl a lot. Most of the bowling that I've seen her do was all collegiate. She was a great player at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore, where she was part of, I believe, 2 MEAC championship teams, and obviously gained a lot of experience through her collegiate career. But also, she wanted to make it a point for us to give a shout out to the Columbia national team. She's really credited them with getting her to where she is today in terms of her bowling. Anggie now residing in Chicago, Illinois. It's a long way from Bogota, and the climate much different.
Leaves the 7-pin. A couple of great opening shots for the young lady. I like her outfit. She's had a little bit of pep in her step also. She's had a bit of a crowd here. A lot of folks cheering for the first female finalist here at this event.
And remember, the players today have already bowled 16 games. Anggie is now into the 17th game just today. I mean, a lot of bowling, a lot of games.
Covers it up, bounces it out. And we have had 2 7-10s picked this week. E.J. Tackett and Bill O'Neill.
How many 300s did we have this week? Do you remember? It was either 5 or 6.
We had a bunch. A.J. Rice comes to mind, Kurt Pelon,
Bill O'Neill.
Aaron McCarthy, Kevin Williams. A little bit higher scoring this week.
And there you see what happens when you get it just a little bit wide on this 44-foot pattern. Not enough friction to make the ball hook back. You want to try to get the ball rolling early, have it come off the end of the pattern fairly smooth so it's not reacting too violently off the end of the pattern. Get it rolling early, keep it in front of you, keep your lines nice and straight and tight.
Covers it up with no problem whatsoever. You know, I talked to Ken for a little while, and he really liked to reminisce of the days that he bowled on the Professional Bowlers Tour. He finished second at the Johnny Petraglio event.
I was the only right-hander on that telecast.
So now Ken getting set here in frame number 3, all squared up through 2 frames. That's the old hit him thin.
Yeah, he likes that lane. Hit him thin and watch him spin. That was a nice hit this week. Saw some unusual pin carry. A lot of messengers going in front of pins. But that hit there, that seemed like the hit, if it wasn't flush, that seemed like the hit you could rely on.
Cagle this week wanted to get on board and help us put down the lane pattern, and for both sides of the house to play as similar as possible. The tapes every day matched up, and I really have to thank Cagle for coming out. Mark Davis and his son coming out and putting down the lane pattern each day for us. Anggie answers. See tour champion Mike Miniman back there. When he won several years ago now, he came out in a Cleveland Browns jersey for that telecast. Didn't wear it throughout, but big Browns fan. You see him back there talking to Greg Sternberg, one of the managers here at Tropicana Lanes. Tropicana Lanes this weekend, gearing up for this event. Really, we're excited to have us here. It's nice to see a bowling center so excited about amateur bowling at a high level with professionals as well. Packs him back. She's been doing it all day. And she's going to be tough in this step ladder.
And she just took the lead. The first double of our opening match. She made a nice ball change in position round. And that really got her into a position to where she could strike out in the 10th frame. And as it turned out, all she needed was the first hit to lock herself in the step ladder finals, and she got it.
Good looking shot there, my McNeely. It looked like that was a little further towards the outside part of the lane.
Well, if it was, it got back, and again, he gets into that light kind of half pocket shot, shreds the rack, and all the pins behave properly for him to double up and make this match all even after 4.
This is the same championship pair as we used last year, lanes 47 and 48. It'll be interesting to keep an eye on lane 48 as we saw some unusual leaves. Brad Miller in the semifinal match left the 5-10 in the pocket. Be interesting to continue to see how the carry on this pair is a year later. That's 2 3-pins now for McNeely.
And one on each lane. That was his good lane. He had struck every shot on that left lane. Remember that he gets choice of starting position. He chose to start the match and finish on the right lane.
We've had a lot of folks this week participating in our chat room, supporting the event online. Thank you to all of you out chatting right now in our chat room, watching, and all the viewers that are watching throughout the world. So Anggie here has an opportunity to really put the hammer down. Triple here would be a nice feeling for her. We saw her take a lot of time as match play went on. Every shot thought out thoroughly, wants to make sure her pre-shot routine is exactly the same, and she's actually taking a re-rack on this right lane, which I just got done talking about, the rack on lane 48. Pretty ironic. Well, that's a devastating shot there. That's exactly the way you want to do it, high flush.
That's a great shot, and that's exactly what you want to do when your opponent gives you an opening. You've got to take advantage. You know Ken McNeely's not going to let up. He's going to be around the pocket for the most part. This was an opportunity for Anggie to take the lead, and now she can add to it with another strike here in the 6th, going for 4 in a row.
Randy, I will let you deliver the call on this next shot.
I'm not going to say it. It's a 4-bagger. It's not that thing that starts with ham.
Our producer, Matt Turek, hot pocket.
Hot pocket, Matt.
There goes Ange. Well, wrap 7.
And the old kiss of death, starting with the ham bone reference you were trying to get me to make. It's a really good shot nonetheless. She's got all strikes in 2 7-pins through 6 frames. And I think that really says a lot about where she is mentally. She's making good shots and hitting the pocket with every ball.
I watched her compete quite a bit. An exceptional spare shooter. Very colorful spare ball. Covers it up with no problem whatsoever. And now we get a chance to see if Ken McNeely can go up and throw a double and get himself right back in this match.
Both players very deliberate.
Yes.
Extremely deliberate. Got some dead wood that Vince Feeler, our technical director, is going to take care of.
Give us an opportunity here to talk a little bit about all of the work that went into this event between the sponsors and me relocating to Utah. I have to thank the entire staff here that lives in St. Louis for taking care of a lot of the pre-work for this event. Ricky Matsko, Matt Turek, Brian Burkhart, Jerry Anderson, Kim Richter, Ashley Cole, Jeff Reed for helping out with organizing this event for us here at Inside Bowling. Now McNeely is getting set on the right lane. A little unusual style also. Really low to the ground.
You know, he said he had to modify his style because he was having some real back issues. But that was the style that he had back in his PBA days. You know, he'd kind of have that crouching tiger, hidden dragon kind of approach to the foul line, and then he'd basically just launch himself at the foul line. But it was pretty effective. He had some nice tournaments in his 4 or 5 year career on tour. Told me a story about Ernie Schlegel coming up to him and telling him that he had to speed it up. Ernie came up to him in an event and said, "Hey, buddy, taking too long," and then called the tournament director over. Oh, flat 7.
Well, that could turn out to be the shot in the match.
Well, there's still a lot of time left, Mike, but you know that was part of the deal with this oil pattern, the 44 feet in length. If you got into that one zone, that half pocket zone, it was almost a weak 10 or a weak 7 every single time, depending on which hand you threw it with. A little bit lighter than you get that swishing the rack kind of shot, or that messenger, and a little bit heavier into the pocket. It was high flush, but there was that weak 10, weak 7 zone that you just tried to avoid at all cost.
This pattern plays out despite being long, which speaks to exactly your point, trying to get the ball back from that far outside with that little bit of distance left to get to the 1-3 or the 1-2 in these two bowlers' cases was the tricky part of this oil pattern. Much higher scoring this year, though, with the machine stripping 100% properly with Kegel here. Well, there's the first shot that we've seen her go high. We saw high flush the last time. You think a move here?
Not yet. That may have been just a little inside of target where she leaves the 6-pin. She's in the lead right now. I don't think there's anything that she needs to do drastically. Just keep making good shots. Ken McNeely's unable to put any more pressure on her. He only has 1 double through 7 frames.
Remember, the winner of this match gets defending champion Bill O'Neill. Covers it up without any problem. You see a lot of collegiate players are excellent spare shooters, especially females.
Listen, I think if you want to bowl good at any level, you better be a good spare shooter. You know, the best players on the PBA Tour are excellent spare shooters. You know, if you want to just bowl league and average 240, you can do that because there's enough 6 and 7 baggers to go around on a house shot where you can miss a 10-pin or a 7-pin if you're left-handed and still average your 240. But in any kind of competition where the oil pattern gets tougher, if you can't strike, you better make spares. Anggie Ramirez qualified with a 240 average on C-Squad, high game of 267.
Comes in high for the second shot in a row and leaves the 6-pin.
Now it might be time to make a move. 6-pin on the right lane. That one was almost a 6-8. Might be time for Anggie to parallel in 1 and 1 to the right. 2 lefties on the same side of the lane. Doesn't happen often. They don't see a lot of transition. Angie's probably seeing it now.
You're not kidding about deliberate in this first match. Kirk Von Kruger would be having a heyday.
If we were doing live television, the production truck would be, they would be up in arms. They would be screaming to try to get us off the air on time.
Well, we got started a little bit late tonight, so maybe this is their way of getting back at us. Covers it up, as to be expected.
There's that half 7 again. Good shot by Ken, just not flush enough or not light enough to get the 7 out. And it wasn't hard to hit the pocket this week on this oil pattern. The players had to figure out a way to get their bowling balls to go through the pins the right way to strike when it got there.
Well, now let's take a chance to throw it down to Jackie, who is now ready to speak to Bill O'Neill. Jackie.
Bill, you won this event last year. How do you repeat it?
Well, it's going to be a tough road. We've got some lefties out there, so I'm going to have to try to just play my own game, and I'm going to be right. You know, it's not my A game to be as far right as I am, but I'm going to make it work.
All right, best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. Bill O'Neill's going to be one tough guy to beat.
Yeah, he's the star power of this telecast, or excuse me, this webcast, and I think you're right.
Absolute terrible break turns into just a mediocre shot there as he leaves the 10 pin. His ball just not finishing any longer, not facing the pins the correct way.
It doesn't need to finish a lot to get the pins to cooperate. It's just not finishing enough. You're right, but that was almost a horrible break. Pocket 7-10 standing, and he kicks the 7 out late. But Ken's in a whole lot of trouble. He is trailing by 9 with a spare here, and he only has 1 double to show for his efforts. And he hasn't missed. He has only gone light once, and that was in the 5th frame. It's up to Anggie Ramirez. Back-to-back 6-pin, 7th and 8th frame. Excuse me, this match is a 10-pin match. The lead is Anggie Ramirez's, but she can shut out Ken McNeely right here with another double, 9th and 10th frame.
Our score got a little ahead of themselves, but we've got it corrected now. Anggie now up in the 9th frame.
Great shot. She's able to get the 7 out, something Ken has had trouble doing. Can she do it one more time and lock up match number 1? Max score for Anggie Ramirez, 237. Max score Ken McNeely, only 217.
Needs to avoid disaster here. Throw a strike here. And she automatically wins. Taking her time yet again. We've seen this.
Wow. You know, there is a saying, paralysis through overanalysis. I mean,
it's working for her, though.
This is more time than she's taken throughout the entire match.
It's a good one.
Real good. Game over. Winner, winner, chicken dinner right there. She just needs to keep it on the lane.
She's got the crowd behind her, that's for sure. With less women's bowling events out there and more women bowling in men's events, co-ed events. We saw Liz Johnson, we saw Jody Wessner, Josie Ernest, Shannon O'Keefe all bowled this event this week. And Anggie Ramirez is the highest finishing female bowler. Not only that, but she's definitely got a good look out there on the lanes tonight.
She's repeating shots. She's making her spares. She's keeping the ball in the pocket every shot. The question is 237 going to be enough to beat Bill O'Neill in the next match? Stick around and find out.
Well, that's a terrific finish and a terrific start here for Anggie Ramirez. 237. Kim McNeely just ran into a better ball reaction and better execution.
Ken McNeely, the third player that I know of personally to lose to a woman on, well, this isn't TV, but it's kind of like TV.
Yeah, we were talking earlier, Randy, about two particular professionals that get beat by women quite often.
Well, I don't know. Oh, no.
7-9.
Someone turned the channel quick. Talk about getting kicked in the stones right as the match is over anyway. McNeely gets up and goes pocket 7-9.
So McNeely finishes in 5th position. He'll receive $1,250. A great week for Ken. Ken will be back, and so will we.
Hi, everybody. I'm Randy Pedersen for Storm Bowling Products. Today, we're going to talk about pressure and how to deal with it. It's a dreadful 7-letter word, isn't it? And we've all experienced it at some point, whether it's bowling in league or maybe in tournament competition. But I'm here to tell you, you don't want to shy away from pressure. You want to let it in. Drink the pressure in. Invite it. Pressure is what makes it fun in sports. Are you the type of player that shies away from it, or do you want the ball in the 4th quarter? The best example of this would have been at the 2012 United States Open, when Pete Weber got up in the 10th frame, needing a strike to win his 5th unprecedented U.S. Open title. Pete stepped up and threw the most beautiful strike ever recorded on television. And when I asked him afterwards, Pete, what went through your mind when you got up in the 10th frame? And Pete looked at me and he said, Randy, nothing. So there you have it. That's the mindset we're looking for. Use these great tips, and I promise you'll be a much better bowler under pressure.
The theme of the day is slow. No question. We should play, when we put this on YouTube, we will slow it down to about a 45 record player with our walking. Okay, here we go. This is the start of the match. So we saw on her last practice shot, she left a 6. And she flushes that. Now, I'm going to go on and make a prediction that with the confusion there, she's going to go on to bowl 300 against Bill O'Neill. I'm just going to throw it out there right now.
I'll take the under.
Now, here is a look at the spokesperson and the stud of last year's Storm InsideBowling.com Open. He defeated Craig Nidiffer last year. If you have not seen that match, you can check it out on our YouTube channel. A look at Bill O'Neill from Langhorne, Pennsylvania. The real deal.
Oh.
That's a real 9-pin.
Oh. B squad qualifying, he shot 450 over, averaged 256 with a 300 game. He had made mention that he made the 7-10 split. This guy's done everything except sell peanuts and popcorn during halftime. You're defending champion of this event. The cream of this crop. Bill O'Neill is by far the real deal. 4 titles on tour, 1 major. Finished runner-up, Player of the Year honors. Bill O'Neill can play. Bowls all over the world. Chasing trophies and dollars.
And last year in the championship match, he only bowled 1 game on this pair, and the lanes got real nasty in that championship match against Craig Nidiffer. This year, Bill O'Neill's look is a lot better. Bill blew it up in qualifying, as you mentioned, but talked about today didn't quite have the same look, and he thought if it would have been a little bit longer of a format today, he may have not made the stepladder finals.
Yeah, he was really grinding through match play, never really had a good look. And when he did, it only lasted for a couple of games.
And now a really bad break for Bill O'Neill. Not the way you want to start this match against the up-and-atom southpaw, Anggie Ramirez.
Anytime you see solid 9-4-9, the ball's not going through the pins the right way, whether it's a ball change or whether it's Bill O'Neill adjusting rotation, maybe changing release just a little bit to get the ball to come off the end of the pattern differently and enter the pins a little differently. But a change has to be made. The players that made it this far and dominated and made the top 5, they may have had carry problems, but it didn't last very long. They figured out a way to get their ball to strike. Bill, unfortunately, only has 8 more frames to figure it out.
$1,000 at stake in this match, $3,000 for third place, $2,000 for fourth. Pretty hefty chunk of change. That's a lot of ramen noodles.
Anggie finished 7-5 in match play in the 12 games. Tournament average just under 230. Not what you want to see if you're Bill O'Neill. After the open in the second frame, Anggie Ramirez jumps all over that opening, and she starts with a double.
She's most certainly got it going on here on this championship pair. And she certainly got that bowling ball matched up perfectly. A bit of surface on that ball.
Absolutely.
Looks like it's a Rotogrip Hypercell.
Yeah, hard to see in my monitor, but I think that's what it is.
When she switched to this ball during match play, she said that this ball opened up the lane and gave her the look she needed to make the telecast. Great form, great style, sticks the shot, and Bill O'Neill is looking at an opening turkey, and Bill O'Neill's got to get it going. We'll see what kind of an adjustment he makes after going 9-pin 4-9. What would be the move you would make, or would it be a ball change at this point?
Hard to say. I mean, when you make moves on this long oil pattern, you run the risk of going 2-8-10.
It's about as good as you can throw it right there.
It may be just moving your eyes aboard left. It could be a 1-1 left. It could be just picking up the ball speed a little bit. It could be getting your hand a little bit softer at the bottom so it doesn't read as early.
Notice Bill O'Neill wiping all the oil off with the towel. We'll see 4 matches here tonight. And at the end of each qualifying squad and even the match play today, as you mentioned, the players not getting very far left at all over the course of the entire day using ice oil from Kegel, as Bill O'Neill does answer with a double now after those 2 good-looking hits, but wasn't able to knock them all down.
You know, if you're Bill O'Neill, you got to think to yourself, okay, it's taking off the sheet time. I'm already trailing. She started with 3 in a row. Of course, both of Bill's first 2 shots, bad break, solid 9-4-9. Can Anggie keep the streak going?
coming right at you. Barely gets the 7-9 out as they fall late. Ken McNeely left the 7-9 in the last match on his last ball on that lane. But never a doubt for Anggie. She opens up with an opening 4-bagger. And Bill O'Neill has got to be thinking on the bench, what have I got myself into here?
Well, he's hoping for a break. He's hoping that she doesn't keep striking so that he has a chance to get back in this. Remember, Bill could still take it off the sheet for 267. There's still room, but if Anggie keeps striking, she has a lot to say about that.
Great looking high flush hit there by Anggie.
Perfect through five. Perfect through 5. Bill O'Neill, man, when if you're in his shoes right now, you're thinking nothing but strikes.
Bill comes in light, leaves the 10-pin after running over the rack on that lane the last 2 times, leaving a 9-pin, and striking now comes in light.
Yeah, he's got that over-under look. Remember the solid 9 in the first frame, then he flushed it in the third. Can't get his ball to face up the pocket the same way twice. He's in big trouble. Can Anggie Ramirez run the ladder?
Well, she's bowling a right-hander now, and in the next match, another right-hander coming along in Craig Nidiffer, so her line should not change much. And Matt McNeil, our top seed, being the southpaw himself, Matty McHonor, some people call him, the king of the USBC over the last few years, the USBC Open Championships, 3 Eagles. We'll see him in the title match. Now Bill O'Neill gets it going, and he's got to think, I want to do over. Just like what we thought was Angie's first shot was a practice shot. She got a do-over. And now Bill O'Neill says, can we just rewind a little bit?
Yeah, well, don't confuse the people that are watching. She didn't get a do-over. It was her last practice ball where she
and
left
we were
the 4-pin.
misinformed. So here comes Anggie looking for an opening 6-pack. Those of you that bet on the over-under of what time this telecast would be over, go ahead and take your ticket to the cage if you had the over.
I didn't see this in match play. What happened? I mean, don't get me wrong. Great bowler, great gal, taking too much time. I get it. It works for her. I get that. But, I mean, am I being wrong for saying that there's just a point to where it's too long?
No. It is within her right to take as much time as possible based off the way we have the rules in this event. Something that the rules committee may take a look at in the future.
That would. Great shot by Anggie Ramirez. 6 in a row, halfway to perfection. I think you really have, for your webcast, there has to be a shot clock. Players have to be aware of it.
And this is the exact reason why a shot clock was put into motion on the PBA Tour.
That is correct.
Take a look at that trophy. That's a Storm IQ Fusion. That's going to be awarded to the winner of this event. Blueberry muffin smell.
Beautiful piece of work.
Ryan Schaefer, Storm staffer, was one of the first people that I saw posting on social media about how much he enjoyed the way that IQ Tour Fusion smells. And one of the best performing bowling balls on the market today and one of the hottest bowling balls on the market today. If you're going to the USBC Open Championships, that's a great ball to have in your bag.
Yep.
Well, the streak ends at 6, and the crowd giving her credit where credit is due. Nice run there for Anggie Ramirez. And she's going to have to make a big mistake if Bill O'Neill's going to have any chance in this match.
Well, Bill can still strike out for 246. Anggie, with a spare here, is already in the high 240s. I mean, he's going to need a lot. Like Tanya Harding and Jeff Galooly coming out of the stands, cracking Anggie in the knee with a bat. And then he's got to take it off the sheet after that. It's about the only chance he's got right now.
We do have some extreme weather moving into the area as well right now.
Oh, even better.
That's pretty par for the course.
Anybody check the radar lately here in St. Louis? I'd like an update. Thank you.
Bill O'Neill now up in the 7th frame. Pretty much is going to have 2 strikes here to still remain in this match. And there you see it again. He goes past the 9-pin, almost leaves a 9-10.
Just awful pin carry for O'Neill. Never really figured out how to get his ball to go through the pins the right way. I got an update that 3 tornadoes touched down in southwest Missouri 2 hours ago.
And Anggie Ramirez is a bit of a tornado herself. But let's throw it down to Jackie Bowling, who's standing by with our 2-seed Craig Nidiffer.
Craig, you finished 2nd last year. You gained a ton of experience from that. How do you use the information that you learned, apply it to tonight, get into the title match, and take home the trophy tonight?
I'm just going to get into a good game plan to start early. I got some surface work that I did last year. I didn't think I got the ball reading quick enough, so this year I'm going to be prepared with that stuff. And got a couple options here, so I'm pretty confident.
All right. Well, best of luck to you. Thanks, Craig. Back to you.
Thanks, Jackie. Bill O'Neill. Good shot on the left lane, but too little too late, it looks like. We have seen some unusual counts here. We've seen a lot of 4 counts. Bill O'Neill actually left a 4 count on his very first ball in match play down on lanes 29 and 30 to our left of our booth. And that's really about the only thing that would put Bill O'Neill in this match is a couple of 4-4s up on the board, which with the way Angie's bowling, keeping the ball in play up the lane, I don't anticipate that happening whatsoever.
She hasn't missed the pocket in almost 2 games. In complete control of her faculties and knows exactly what she's trying to do. And she's just gone high for a 6-8.
Well, that's the first pocket leave that she's left. It's the first 8 count that she's left. Anything other than 9 or a strike. And good thing she's got a 6-bagger going there because she'll be able to just shake this one off and get good count.
Bad carry by Bill O'Neill did not enable him to put any kind of pressure on Anggie, especially since Anggie started with the front 6.
Anggie is clean through her first match and clean through this match, but not anymore as she does get count. So max score for Anggie Ramirez, 256, Bill O'Neill, 226. Foundation frame, left lane, Anggie Ramirez. Would this pace of play bother you, Randy?
Yeah, it really would. Too slow for me. We bowled at the Villages last week. It was 5 on a pair in qualifying. It was brutal. I like getting up and throwing it. Nice shot.
Well, at this point in time, it's going to be tough to beat Anggie.
Through 19 frames, she hasn't missed the pocket. Left a couple of 6 pins, a couple of 7 pins, left the 6-8 in the 8th frame of this game. She has not missed the 1-2.
Bill O'Neill looking for the double. And the crowd actually gives Bill O'Neill a little relief there as they cheer for him. Way to go, way to get the double, Billy.
And the crowd goes mild. Yeah, but Bill's a class act, a good sport. He knows that he had his hands full and he needed to throw strikes. He wasn't able to do that. The match isn't completely out of hand. Bill can still strike out for 226. Would force Anggie Ramirez to mark in the 10th frame.
And Anggie, the last time she was on this lane, Randy.
Crazier things have happened. I've seen it many times before on the PBA Tour. Put the pressure on your opponent, see what happens. I don't see Anggie Ramirez going back-to-back 6-8s, but right now all Bill O'Neill is thinking about is striking out in the 10th and making her mark.
And now he's taking extra time.
We've seen some crazy pin carry in this building throughout the 3 days of the event. Pocket 7-10s, 4-9s, 6-8s for lefties. Seen a lot of crazy stuff happen. The question is, can Bill throw 3 more in a row?
Now there's one.
That would be a 5-bagger. And he needs, actually, a double and 9 forces Anggie Ramirez to mark. Because if she were to get 9 out, she would shoot 224. Bill, with one more strike and 9, would shoot 225.
We have just surpassed 900 viewers online. If you're just joining us, we're in match number 2. Anggie Ramirez, Bill O'Neill. Anggie Ramirez defeated Ken McNeely in the first match. Now O'Neill definitely needs a strike here.
Great shot. 2 solid 9s, and that devastating 4-9 in the second frame is a big difference in this match right now. But Bill O'Neill still has a chance, small chance, but he still has one if he gets at least 9 on this shot.
A better chance than Lloyd Christmas with Mary Swanson in Dumb and Dumber.
Nice movie reference.
Well, there you go.
Jeez.
He started the match with a solid 9, and he finishes the match with a solid 9. And Bill O'Neill being a good sport. The crowd here remembers him winning last year. He's got some favorites here in the Lou. And now, Angie's going to step up. The last time she was on this lane, we mentioned it before, she left 6-8. And the shot before on that lane, the 6th frame, the 7 and the 9 were late to fall. Very late to fall.
Let's see how much time she takes on this shot.
We still have that possibility out there as well for a tie. Well, it's over now.
Got in that half pocket zone, shredded the rack, and Game over. Bill O'Neill is going to finish 4th in this event. After winning last year, Anggie Ramirez continues to climb the ladder. She will move on to face Craig Nidiffer.
Bill O'Neill pockets $2,000 for his efforts, finishing 4th. Last year, only one left-hander made the top 16. It was Anthony Pepe. This year, good mix of both sides of the lane, as we've seen 3 lefties make the show. Anggie now not as confident of a ball reaction. Be interesting to see what happens as these lanes continue to transition, see if she may try another ball or if she'll just stick with it and make the appropriate adjustments.
I think that was just a test shot. I think she moved off of the last shot and tried to see what would happen. She went light. She's going to go back to where she was. She's okay there. 245's 245. I'd take that against the rest of the field in the upcoming matches and take my chances. Hi everybody, Randy Pedersen here for Storm Bowling Products. Today we're going to talk about a reverse oil pattern, or what I call a reverse block. What is a reverse block? On a typical house shot, the outside part of the lane is extremely dry and the middle part of the lane has a heavy concentration of oil. But on a reverse block, it's exactly the opposite. The middle part of the lane hooks, the outside part of the lane is slick, and this leads to real low scores. You can attack this extremely difficult oil pattern from one of 2 ways: the extreme outside part of the lane or the extreme inside part of the lane. If you go from the outside part of the lane, you have to be very accurate. You want to keep the ball on line, and straighter is greater. From the middle part of the lane, the deep inside part of the lane, it's the same kind of thing. Make sure you're extremely accurate. Make sure you're hitting your target. There's not a lot of room for error on this oil pattern. What's the best equipment to use on this demanding oil pattern? Well, if you play the extreme outside part of the lane, that's where the heaviest concentration of oil is. So you're going to have to use a much more aggressive bowling ball. If you choose to play the extreme inside part of the lane, remember, no oil, reverse block. So you're going to have to use something that's less aggressive. Now, whether you decide to play the extreme outside part of the lane or the deep inside part of the lane, remember, accuracy is at a premium when bowling on a reverse oil pattern. Use these great tips. I guarantee you they'll help you the next time you face the dreaded reverse block.
All right, everybody. Match number 3, Craig Nidiffer, the 2 seed, to take on Anggie Ramirez. Anggie Ramirez has been a house of fire, doing a tremendous job out here on this lane condition. She has beaten last year's champion, Bill O'Neill.
Fish.
And Ken McNeely.
The last right-hander standing. 5 left-handers made it to match play. 5 out of the top 12. Only 2 right-handers to make the telecast or the webcast, and Craig Nidiffer, the last right-hander standing, or as I like to call him, the Great Right Hope. Nothing against lefties.
I like it. We're both right-handed, Randy. It's fine. Craig opens up with a strike.
Do we know if that shot counted?
It's on the board.
Okay. So this was my early pick, start of the week. Craig Nidiffer.
You're right. I picked Zerbinski. John Zerbinski bowled this event. He made the top 32 but did not make match play. Opening shot for Anggie, match number 3. 10 back.
Back to her striking ways again. Remember, she went light on that second ball in the 10th. You were wondering whether or not she had lost her reaction. I thought it was more of a test shot to see just how much oil was in the middle for her.
been a very fun weekend, and in our chat today, we noticed even earlier Jeff Carter and Dennis Hacker, who did a lot of the commentating this week, in the chat that we have available, you can make up your own name. LeBron James was in there earlier, and currently right now we have Jeff Riggles, Sean Rash, Ernie Schlegel, all kinds of interesting names in there. The real Jason Belmonte.
Yeah, and my favorite, Eugene McCune.
Yeah, Eugene McCune.
Yeah.
Ooh. Takes care of business there. I got to say, that ball looks really good.
It's holding up. It's holding up quite nicely. Are we going to have an all-lefty finals for the first time in the history of the IB Open?
It is possible. Gohagen, the only other person to bowl for a title in this event, the very first year, Gohagen versus Peters. And I must mention that Rotogrip being a sister company to Storm, both players in this match using Rotogrip balls, the newest releases, the HP 3 and HP 4 line releases.
Oh my. Ripped the rack 410, 10 falls late for Nidiffer.
Craig Nidiffer is, in my opinion, one of the best up-and-coming bowlers that competes on the National Professional Bowlers Tour. Craig Nidiffer's made a couple of nice runs at the World Series of Bowling in Las Vegas. Had a little success in Detroit, has yet to make a show. I personally thought that he was a bit robbed by not making a PBA League team. Thought he would have been a nice fit, personally.
Nidiffer?
Nidiffer.
He would have been a great pick.
The buildings that those week-long events go in on right now, Nidiffer matches up quite well. He's from Detroit, near Thunder Bowl.
He can bowl. Make no mistake about it, Craig Nidiffer can bowl. I mean, he finished 5th on Cheetah last year's World Series of Bowling, and he had an 8th, I believe, the year before on, I can't remember if it was Viper, but Craig Nidiffer can bowl. Oh, my. You can see the struggles of the right-handers. Bill O'Neill had no carry, and early on, Craig Nidiffer strike. Ripped the rack 410, 10 falls late, leaving the 4-pin, and now ringing 10. Anggie Ramirez, the only ball that hasn't hit the pocket was her second ball in the 10th frame of the last game. Everything else has been in the 1-2.
Craig Nidiffer also won the iGrind $30,000 Detroit Shootout Regional that was actually live streamed on some friends of ours channel, Michigan Bowler TV. Good opportunity to tell all the folks at home about other live streaming options out there. If you're a fan of bowling, you should be aware of Bowl TV, Michigan Bowler TV, and of course Extra Frame, the online bowling channel. If you're not subscribed to Extra Frame and you love bowling, you need to subscribe to Extra Frame and support the PBA Tour and watch some fantastic bowling. Anggie looking for an opening triple. Well, now that's the first time we've legitimately seen her make a bad shot. One of the toughest spares to convert on flatter patterns. However, this particular pattern with playing outside part of the lane, a little bit easier spare. I may hook at this ball personally, but it looks like she's going to go hard and straight.
Mistake throwing a curve of any kind at that spare. Mistake. On this pattern, you could get away with it maybe, but
a little bit of friction to the left.
I mean, I still think that you work on your spare game and you work on throwing it straight at spares.
And she covers it with no problem. Great spare shooter. If you're Craig Nidiffer, though, seeing Anggie, if he's been watching these first 2 games, it's got to give you a little bit of a sigh of relief. It's kind of like in the movie Rocky when he cuts the Russian.
First count that she's had under 9 the entire day.
Well, she did leave that 6-8, that pesky 6-8.
I stand corrected.
But
the first count under 8 she's had all night.
But she's been in the pocket. That 6-8 was a terrible break. No problem there, as Anggie just puts one right back in there. And look, she's high-fiving people in the crowd. That's Jacob Kent, Doug Kent's son. Congratulations to Doug Kent. Just got inducted in the USBC Hall of Fame. Actually said a funny story. Not the hot dog story, but he said that his son was 22 going on 8.
Yeah, I sat next to Jacob for a lot of games in match play today.
I saw that.
And he's just a good kid. I remember we were bowling in Austin, Texas years ago, and Jacob was just a little kid. And Doug asked me while he was bowling the pro if I could take Jacob into the game room. And Jacob milked me for about $8 in video games.
Craig Nidiffer almost leaves a pesky 7-pin, but does throw some other pin over there at that. And now Craig Nidiffer looking to get a double here in the 5th frame. Yeah, really a star-studded field. The Marshall Kents of the world, the A.J. Johnsons, a lot of young youth. Also had some accomplished Don Breeden, who's been bowling extremely well on the senior tour as of late.
I've been watching him strike at will for 2 weeks out there.
He bowled this event. 312 entries, 238 bodies came out to participate in this event. 91 entries the first year, 117, 271, now 312. We appreciate the support for this event last weekend in April every year. Splits the rack there, never a doubt for Craig Nidiffer. And it looks like Anggie is going to take a re-rack on the right lane. Randy, tell me something. You've recently rededicated yourself to bowling. I noticed you're bowling a few more PBA 50 stops.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure I would use the term rededicated. But I have been practicing a bit. Worked with Del Ballard a lot in Vegas about a month ago to get ready for some events on the PBA 50 tour, and I bowled the first 2 in Florida. Looking forward to the majors in Las Vegas in the summer, and then I'll probably reevaluate after the 2 majors, the U.S. Open and the Masters, and then see how many more I'm going to bowl throughout the rest of the year. High again on the right lane. Anggie Ramirez letting Craig Nidiffer gain some confidence moving forward, knowing that she's not striking every ball like she did against her other 2 opponents. Anggie went high and left the 2, 4, 7 in the 3rd frame. High again, leaving only the 2-pin.
Not easy to move in on this pattern. Some people had more success staying on top of the dry as they broke down. It will be interesting to see what happens on this right lane for her as the match goes on. But keep in mind, she'll only have to bowl on this lane in the 7th and 9th frames, as Craig Nidiffer is allowing her to finish on the left lane.
Yeah, the moves on this oil pattern is very interesting. You know, the move for her could just be maybe one right with her eyes, so that the ball looks at more oil down lane, or right of target. If she moves 1 and 1, she runs the risk of the ball not picking up and her going light, and that's what the players faced throughout qualifying and match play on this oil pattern. You can't make a big move. You can't move, like say 3 and 1 or 4 and 1 in towards the center part of the lane and start opening the oil pattern up. Just doesn't work. Wow, in front of the 7. Saw a lot of that.
An update here from Vince Feeler down on the ground. Says this is the first time Anggie has been behind in a match tonight.
Yes, sir.
Very important for her to pick this 7-pin up. Covers it up, not a problem at all. No surprise. And now Craig Nidiffer has got to be thinking to himself, wow, this is a great opportunity. Get up there, make another good shot. Hopefully the rack on 48 will treat me nicely. Get the ball to go through the pins the right way. Come out of here with a triple, head over to the left lane. However, it's not so easy. Let's see what Craig can do. Craig now taking his time. Craig's got a style that if you watch him bowl, you know it's Craig Nidiffer. It's unique. It's a little bit different. Very unique release, but I like it.
Well, he's got a great release. I mean, oh my God.
Reminiscent of Bill O'Neill in the last match. Couldn't really throw it much better than that, can you?
There was like 3 pins in front of the 9-pin. He's got a unique style in the way he sets up. It's very unorthodox. His approach going to the foul line, a lot of cup in that wrist. But the only thing that I look at is how often he repeats shots and what his ball roll is like. He's got tremendous hand and great roll.
So now just a 2-pin match. Nidiffer has the lead. Max score 248. Max score for Anggie Ramirez 246. It's anybody's ball game through 6 frames.
Nice shot there. So he had a chance to open up a big lead. Instead, it's only 2 pins because of that ugly solid 9 in the 6th frame. That would have been a 4-bagger, or in the words of Rob Stone, a 4-bagger.
Pretty important here for Anggie to figure out this right lane. She's gone high the last 2 times. See if she can get back in the pocket. Well, that's a pretty good comeback shot after going high the last 2 times. Pretty good adjustment, leaves a 7-pin. We saw last year as the games went on, Randy, that the pair got harder and harder.
Yes.
And we saw that through qualifying as well.
Yeah, as there's more traffic and the front part of the lane goes, the players are forced to either ball down to get the ball through the front part of the lane, or they have to move in. And when they move in, they really have to keep their lines parallel and keep their target in front of them. Otherwise, You leak the ball just a hair to the right for a right-hander or left for a left-hander, there's not enough friction to get the ball back to the pocket.
And more great spare shooting out of Anggie. Hey, you know what? Let's take a look at our top seed. Is Jackie Bowling standing by with them now? Jackie.
Matt, you are in the most enviable position in a stepladder final. How do you feel?
Well, you know, I've been sitting for 2 hours, so besides a little stiff knee, that's all right. It's not bad. I get to only have to bowl one more game after the 30-some I've already bowled this weekend. So.
Well, going into it, what was your look in practice?
Angie's carved up the right lane pretty good, especially in the front part of the lane, and that's why she's struggling this match. And I threw a couple shots, and I was like, oh boy, yeah, this is not the greatest. So if she wins, it'll be probably a grind-out match between me and her, whoever can hit the right lane. And if Craig wins, I'm hope he's nice to me, because I like my look on the left, but the right lane is tricky.
All right, well, best of luck to you.
Thank you, darling.
Thank you, Jackie, for that interview with Matt. Matt McNeil is a feisty character, and with the slow play that we've had tonight, I'm looking for a little bit of energy out of Matt McNeil, Matty McConnor score. Oh my goodness. A pocket 710 for Craig Nidiffer on the right lane.
It's been bad carry after bad carry for the right-handers. Solid 9 in the 6th frame, 10 pin, almost a pocket 410 in the second, and now a pocket 710. My opinion, one of the worst breaks, if not the worst break in bowling, because you don't even get a chance to convert the spare. It's an open frame for hitting the pocket and throwing a pretty good shot.
So now Anggie Ramirez takes the lead on the bench. And now Craig Nidiffer's just got to go up and throw a strike here in the 9th. Just to have a chance, in my opinion.
Well, great shot there. He still has a possibility of shooting 216. Anggie Ramirez can strike out, shoot 235. This next shot, I think, on this right lane, very telling for Anggie, as she has not struck on this lane since the first frame of this match.
You know, we talked about Kyle Troop last night. A person in the chat called him Art Garfunkel. We had a lot of fun with that.
Screech.
And I can't help but, with these long pauses, to think of the sound of silence.
Mike, you need to work on that.
I think it's just fair to say that this has been probably the weirdest broadcast I've ever been a part of in my life at our premier event. Look at that bucket crumbler.
Wow. Listen, when it's your time, it's your time. She carried an extremely light hit there, caving in the bucket. She's got a double now and a chance to shut out Craig Nidiffer. Strike here, she'll be in the 220s, and that'll be it. If she doesn't strike on this ball, Nidiffer can strike out in the 10th and beat her.
So is there any chance for Craig Nidiffer to win this match, Randy, in your opinion?
The way things are going, I don't think so. I think she's going to strike on this ball. She's on her good lane. Sit the pocket every shot. She's only left a 7-pin in the 6th frame.
What a great story it would be if a female were to win this event.
Oh, it would be a great story. Great for your tournament.
Well, you predicted a strike, and that's what we get. Anggie Ramirez is going to take down yet another one of the beasts in this field as she takes down Craig Nidiffer.
You know, nobody saw this coming. Nobody saw her making the top 5, and I don't think anybody saw her running the ladder. Now it's an all-lefty finals and a showdown with Matt McNeil.
And I know Matt McNeil, as he mentioned, that it's been a couple of hours already. It's going to be interesting to see how McNeil responds to the slow play and what McNeil's going to bring. He likes to get amped up. It helps him a little bit with getting into a rhythm. And now Anggie strikes again as she's still sticking with the same ball and just making adjustments throughout this whole thing and bowling enough to get through it.
I think that was the beauty of what she had going on in this event, that her ball did not read the front part of the lane like all the other left-handers did. A little lower rev rate, but her speed and her revs match up real nicely together. Matt McNeil's got a higher rev rate. Ken McNeely, a little higher rev rate. We saw the two-handed left-handers. I believe A.J. Rice, way higher rev rate.
Kevin Williams.
Williams, much higher rev rate. Her ball doesn't read the front like their balls do. She has to make micro adjustments. If her ball goes high, it's just a small move in, maybe just moving her target in. It's not a big move for her. And I think that's a huge advantage on this oil pattern.
So Craig Nidiffer just runs into a buzzsaw here. Pretty good game.
He bowled a great game. Strike, blower 410, gets the 10 out, ring 10, double, stone 9 with 3 pins in front of the 9, and then a pocket 7-10 in the 8th.
Last year he defeated.
Look at that.
There's another 7-10 for Craig. And that was the lane that last year when he bowled against Brad Miller, that Brad Miller had the same struggles on that particular right lane, lane 48 here at Tropicana Lanes.
Anggie Ramirez, by way of Bogota, Colombia, now kicking it in Chicago, all of 23 years of age, looking to win her biggest ever event. Hi everybody, Randy Pedersen here for Storm Bowling Products. Today we're going to talk about putting rotation on the bowling ball. Why is that important? Well, it's really quite simple. A straight ball is going to go into the pins and it's going to deflect, thus decreasing pin carry. What we want to do is knock as many pins down as possible with every shot. So by putting rotation on the bowling ball, it's going to help the ball drive through the pins and minimize deflection. By minimizing deflection, we're going to knock more pins down. So how do we put rotation on the bowling ball? First of all, it's all about being in the right position at the bottom of the swing. And that position is the hand behind the ball, not on the side. Remember, when the hand gets to the side early, all you're going to do is spin it. So we want to keep the hand underneath the ball. When the thumb clears, it's going to be a quarter turn. It's not this. That's, again, is going to create spin. It's a quarter turn. I want you to envision throwing an underhand spiral with a football, because in essence, that's really what a bowling release is all about. You get your hand underneath, a little quarter turn off the side of the ball, and you're going to put roll and side turn on that bowling ball. And when you do that, the ball is going to drive through the pins, and you're going to throw a lot more strikes.
We are now here for the final match of the Storm InsideBowling.com Open. Hey, let's make it a good one here. Let's see a good match between Matt McNeil, Anggie Ramirez, boy versus girl, and lefty versus lefty. We will have a left-handed champion here for the first time in this event. There's the handshake, and it's time. It's game on. And Matt has decided to let Anggie start the match on the left lane.
Make her finish on the right lane, the lane that broke down, the lane that she went through the nose on, the lane that Matt McNeil said she had already beat up and fried out.
Runs over the rack for a 10-pin. Randy, great looking shot. High flush. Unfortunate to leave the 10. She's staring at another spare.
Wouldn't you agree that she's had the best carry in the building of all the players?
Absolutely.
Not that she's carried everything. She's left
overall.
She's left a soft 7 here and there. She left maybe a couple of 6 pins. She did leave a 6-8. But overall, best carry in the building out of the players we've seen on the telecast, and it's because she's got a little softer hand, a little lower rev rate.
Had a little trouble with the footing there, but no harm, no foul. It's 9 spare for Anggie Ramirez, and now stepping in to deliver the first ball in the finals. His first shot to be made, Matt McNeil. People call him Clark Kent with those glasses. He is a historian of the game of bowling. Matt told both of us on this webcast 2 days ago that he goes to some of the most historic pairs in PBA history when he's around those bowling centers and just sits there and soaks it all in. Watches a lot of YouTube videos, idolizes some of the great lefties of the game, and Matt opens up with a strike on that more burnt up right lane. Great opening shot for Matt.
He's a heck of a bowler. I really like his game. It's so simplistic, yet he's got plenty of hand. Not a lot of moving parts in that game, and I like that.
His idols growing up, and that he has tried to model his game after Mike Albee, John Mazza, just to name a few. Goes to Wichita State University. His first year there. A little bit older student. Opens up with a double. Getting his master's degree. And now here comes Anggie on the lane that, if there was one lane that was giving her a little more trouble, it would be this lane.
I think this will tell you something right here. See what her ball reaction's like on this right lane. Again, not a bad spot to hit him in.
No, kind of a half pocket hit.
That in between squish the rack and rip the rack, kind of blower 5 into the 10 kind of thing. That's not a bad place to hit, especially with the rev rate of Anggie Ramirez. Matt McNeil getting off to a quick start. And Anggie Ramirez has not been in this position very often. I think only one other time in tonight's webcast was she trailing.
A ring and 7-pin for Anggie. So she goes 10-pin, 7-pin on the left lane, and now we start to see some carry struggles for this young lady. Three consistent shots, put it right in the 1-2. Only one strike to show for it through 3 frames. Not what you want to do against Matt McNeil, especially when he opens with a double.
Now, if you're Matt McNeil, you're thinking, okay, she spares here. I throw 2 more, and she's really going to start thinking about it.
Covers the spare up nicely. I'm really impressed with just her game overall. No matter what happens here, the fact that she didn't, miss any spares thus far. She's had to bowl the most games possible, through qualifying with this format and running the step ladders. It's impressive. Here's McNeil. And Matty McHonorscore has an opening triple.
Exactly what he wanted to do. Get out to a quick start, put all the pressure on Anggie Ramirez.
Matt McNeil, the owner of 3 Eagles. He won the 2010 All Events, the 2012 All Events at the USBC Open Championships, and the 2012 doubles with Chuck Vaschow on the Linz Lakers team. And Matt has been struggling with his game, trying to work on some mechanical things while going to Wichita State. And this was a great warm-up event for him going into the USBC Open Championships. He bowls next weekend.
Great shot by Matt. Shreds the rack in exactly what the doctor ordered. Gets off to the quick start. 4-bagger. Anggie Ramirez now playing catch-up. He's already in the 220s. Anggie has yet to double. Nice lead by Matt McNeil through 3.5 frames.
Now, let's bring this up, Randy, that both of these folks bowling in this match, Anggie and Matt, both college students, this is a look at the future of our game.
You could say that about every player on the telecast tonight with the exception of Ken McNeely. Bill O'Neill, I guess maybe not so much the future, but he's one of the young guns. Craig Nidiffer, future of the tour. Matt, certainly. I don't know how much Anggie Ramirez is going to bowl on the PBA tour, if she's going to bowl the World Series of Bowling or not, but if she's going to bowl in this event, why wouldn't she? Right now, she's in a heap of trouble. 1 strike, 2 7-pins, 1 10-pin through 4 frames. And this may be a Matt McNeil slaughter. Anggie doesn't get back on the strike train.
Keeps herself in it by covering the spare. Also, with handling all the entries for this event, Anggie actually moved from B squad to C squad because of her duties at her job. So Anggie, very mature, she has a job, decided to work and then come bowl. And she's also Kyle King's girlfriend. A lot of power couples bowled this event. Danielle McEwen, Marshall Kent, John Zerbinski, Christina Fromm, just to name a couple.
She needed that and needed that badly. Now, can Matt McNeil keep his foot on the accelerator?
Now look who's taking a little extra time. Matt McNeil knows this particular shot right here. Put a stranglehold on this match very early. That is a little John Mazza-like, isn't it?
I mean, a little. There's exactly what Anggie Ramirez was hoping for. A 7-pin by Matt. You know, it's a little John Mazza-ish, but if you look at Matt McNeil's right arm, it stays very close to his body. Mazza's right arm was way out here, up high and out, extended. Watch Matt's right arm. If anything, that's a little closer to Earl. Earl used to keep that right arm right in front of him, and it didn't move.
You just compared Matt McNeil to Earl Anthony on this broadcast.
Only in one aspect.
One aspect, but still, Matt McNeil's going to watch this back.
Earl didn't hook it,
and he's gonna love that.
I like Matt's. I like how stable his shoulders are, and that's evident by the fact that his right arm doesn't move. So those shoulders stay very open, and that's very critical, especially in today's modern game with strong bowling balls, where you have to feed the ball from left to right or right to left, depending on what hand you throw with. But you can see just how open his body stays as he's just stones a solid 8-pin.
Doesn't seem to fluster Matt, though. We've seen him carry some bad hits and not carry some good hits, and he just goes about his business.
He doesn't get too over the top, whacked out, ferret on a double espresso mad, but he does have some pretty cool hand gestures when he does start to get a little agitated.
Now covers it up, and Anggie Ramirez now has a max score of 259. Matt McNeil can strike out for 268. So Anggie with a strike up in the 5th, now up in the 6th. If she can double here, it's going to put some pressure on Matt McNeil.
Well, it'll give him something to think about. Needed that big time.
That's a nice break for Anggie.
Yeah, tripped that 6 out. That 6-10 goes late, and she needed that. One more, she can cut the deficit to 9. Big shot coming up here on the left lane.
Taking her time, knows how important every shot is, and these are college students. 10,000, 5,500, that's a lot of money on the line. Well, that's a strike for Anggie. Now does exactly what she needs to do.
How does Matt McNeil respond to the 3-bagger by Anggie Ramirez? 4-bagger, flat 7, stone 8 for Matt McNeil thus far.
Well, he just needs to keep doing what he's been doing. Nice
shot there.
I think he yelled a little something at that ball. I believe it was the word hook. I went to Buffalo Wild Wings with Matt McNeil Thursday night, and he was talking to me about how much he enjoys being at Wichita and how he loves Gordon and he loves his teammates at Wichita State. And I know that there's a lot of folks that have been watching this all weekend from Shocker Country, and he's got a lot of people at home watching him, rooting him on here.
Big
Almost
shot.
a solid 8, but he slaps it out.
Remember the last time on that lane he did leave a solid 8. This time he trips it out of there. Big shot for Matt McNeil. Now puts him in the 230s. However, did you know that Anggie Ramirez can get up right now in the 8th and 9th and strike both of those frames and take the lead? Did you know that?
I did not know that.
And I was told there would be no math. You guys lied to me. Oh, no.
She leaves the 4-6, goes high on that lane. Have not seen her go high on that lane for quite some time. She's been making the correct adjustments, and just when she needed a strike, ultimate penalty for a bad shot, the 4-6, and in my opinion is the hardest spare to make, even harder than the 7-10. It's hard to bounce these pins out.
Well, McNeil's game plan starting to prove very costly for Anggie Ramirez in getting her to finish on that right lane. You heard him say it in his interview that the right lane was starting to go. He had choice of starting lane because of the higher seed. He makes her finish on that right lane, and she just came through in the 8th frame with a 4-6. Couldn't have happened at a worse possible moment.
Matt McNeil going at a 235 pace. Anggie Ramirez can only bowl 225. Critical for her to go up and throw a strike here in the 9th frame and see what Matt McNeil does in the 9th and 10th frames.
Well, that gives her some hope. Not a lot. It still has 225 in her future if she can strike out. Matt McNeil's already in the 230s. So now Anggie Ramirez is hoping on a bad break for Matt McNeil, a pocket split, a 6-8, a pocket 7-10, something to give her some glimmer of hope. I don't think Matt McNeil's going to miss the pocket, but this is the trickier of the two lanes, this right lane that Matt McNeil is on right now.
Well, there's some emotion. I knew he had it in him, and he knew what that shot meant.
He needs to stay behind the foul line and get just relatively decent count, and he's your winner. He's in the 240s now. He doesn't even need a mark. What a great shot Matt threw on the right lane when he needed it most, taking advantage of the open frame by Anggie Ramirez in the 8th.
Matt McNeil is your 2014 Storm InsideBowling.com Open champion. He pockets $10,000, and what a confidence booster for Matt McNeil going into the USBC Open Championships, his favorite event next weekend. He wins this event. He also won the 11thframe.com Open, which was Jeff Riggle's event we did at Cherry Lanes a couple of years ago. Matt McNeil has now won 2 events that we have webcasted.
Just an awesome performance there. It left that sort of half 7 in the 5th and then stone 8 in the 6th. Everything else has been just 10 in the pit. Talk about a 10-pin party in the pit. He's having it. Really got to tip your hat to Anggie Ramirez. She bowled great, climbed the ladder, got all the way to the title match. Nobody gave her that much of a chance.
She bowled phenomenally well on this webcast today. She pockets a cool $5,500. And Matt McNeil finishes with, well, with one more strike, Matt McNeil will finish with 268.
Highest game on the webcast tonight, I believe. Coming in the title match. Well done.
268, Matt McNeil couldn't have thrown the ball much better than that. The double high five to Anggie, and high fiving his friends there in the front row. See Nathan Bohr, Tino DeFranco, Jerry Anderson, tournament director, proprietor, Kim Richter, Harvey Johnson. Really a great scene down there for Matt McNeil. I know this one meant a lot to him. Well, and Anggie, when it rains, it pours here in this title match. 6-8, second time she's left it on that lane, but she's got a smile on her face. If she knew coming into this event she was going to finish second, I think she'd have said, I'll take that.
Absolutely. She just missed the transition on the right lane, and it cost her.
And she ran into an absolute buzzsaw in Matt McNeil.
And last time I checked, 268s are hard to beat in a one-game match.
Yes, they are, especially on this oil pattern. The crowd gives them a round of applause. You see the hug. Congratulations again to Matt McNeil for winning this event, the 2014 Storm InsideBowling.com Open. When we come back, it'll be a check and trophy presentation. Give Randy an opportunity to go down to the lanes as you see Matt grab the trophy, hoist it up. And we will be right back here in St. Louis.
Hi everybody, Randy Pedersen for Storm Bowling Products. Today, we're going to talk about using a targeting system to help increase your scores and build consistency. First off, I want you to stop looking at the head pin. Remember, there are 39 boards across the lane and 7 arrows that are only 15 feet from the foul line. Much easier to hit than something that's 60 feet away. The reason why I want you to look at a target is because it's going to build consistency. Remember, you're looking to see where you're putting your feet. Let's look at a target. That way we can make any adjustments necessary if you're not getting your ball to the pocket. For example, let's say you're looking at the second arrow. The ball's a little bit light into the pocket. All you have to do is move your feet right, keep your eyes on that same target. If you want to get real specific and real precise with your targeting, pick out a board or maybe a little discoloration in one of the boards. So remember, using a specific target, whether it's a board on the lane or one of the arrows that's about 15 feet from the foul line, will help improve your scores and build consistency. With our winner of the 2014 IB Open, Matt McNeil. Matt, great job in the title match. You obviously had some strategy going in. You talked about the right lane breaking down, and then you had choice to starting lane. You forced Anggie to finish on that right lane. What was your strategy?
Well, when I got my 2 practice balls after the third match, the right lane really there's a good hole in the front part of the lane, and it was not conducive to a good reaction. So I just said, I'm going to get right of her and just try to slow roll the lane a little more and force her to finish on that right lane, which I knew was shaky. After she rolled the 6, I said, this one's either a flat 7 or a split, and she ended up with 4-6. So it was a good strategy that paid off, and I made some good shots when I needed to.
Yeah, you sure did. And 268, no matter what the lanes are like, a little tough to beat. Describe in your own words what this win means to you.
It means a lot. I've been really struggling with a lot of physical difficulties with my game. So physically, it felt good to really throw it good again. Know that I can compete with these guys and belong out here, and it obviously helps mentally too.
Now, you've got some other tournaments coming up in your future. Tell us about that.
Well, obviously, I'm bowling doubles with you at the Bowlers Journal.
Of course.
And next weekend. But I got Nationals next weekend with the Linz Lakers. So this is a great bout of confidence heading into Nationals.
Sure, that's awesome. I'm looking forward to competing with you in the BJ doubles. That's going to be great. What else? I mean, what's in your future? What does this do for you in your future as it pertains to bowling?
It's just another affirmation that I belong out here. This is what I love to do. This is my passion. And, without all the people behind me, my family and my sponsors, I won't be able to continue doing what I love to do out here. So I'm just going to keep bowling more.
Any PBA Tour competition in your future?
With my collegiate status for one more year, I'll bowl in my 2 regionals, or try to cash in 2 regionals. And then probably after that, I'm going to plan on getting my card and bowling what there is to bowl.
Good. Tour needs you. Congratulations. Great job, Matt.
Thank you, Randy. Appreciate it.
Let's send it back to Mike Flanagan.
Thank you, Randy Pedersen. What can I say? Matt McNeil, a great champion here tonight, $10,000. Once again, want to thank everyone for being part of our webcast and for bowling in the event. Those of you that are still on your way home, 33 states represented. Over 230 bowlers came out to this. With re-entries, we got 312. Thanks again to all of our sponsors, and we'll see you again soon on our next webcast. The InsideBowling.com Open 2015 edition will be the last weekend in April 2015. And make sure that you give us a like on Facebook, a subscribe on our YouTube channel, and a follow on Twitter. Until next time, I'm Mike Flanagan. Continue throwing the ball around. You definitely want to do that, and come out and compete in one of our events. Have a good night, everybody. It's been a long one. Take care.